And joining me now on the line from Hamburg is the Klitschko brothers' manager, that's Bernd Boente. Mr. Boente, a very good afternoon to you.
Yeah, good afternoon to London.
Can we start with Derek Chisora? Do you think Derek Chisora, the boxer, should be banned for life?
Yeah, I don't know if you should ban him for life, but at least the British Board of Boxing has to take some action because it was not only the brawl after the fight, it was also that he slapped Vitaly at the weigh-in, spit into Vladimir's face at the stare down before the fight.
So what should they do, do you think?
I mean, that's a little bit too much.
What do you think they should do? Because you've listed a number of things that he did wrong. That
I don't know. I don't want to go into these things. That's really up to Charlie Giles, who we really know very well. He's a fantastic president, and I don't want to get involved into their discussion. But some action has to be taken.
Yeah. You say some action needs to be taken. How offended was your client by that behaviour? Being spat at, being slapped at the face, did he think it was acceptable?
Yeah, I think both activities, call it that way, the slapping and then also the spitting into Vladimir's face were absolutely no-goes. I mean, I spoke to Vladimir, who is in training camp for the fight next week against Jean-Marc Mormec. He told me he had his fist in his trunks and really holding back because he knew that would cause big problems for his brother in the fight starting a minute later. I mean, that is absolute unacceptable, and you see what kind of role models Vitaly and Vladimir are because they did nothing, they did not hit back, and I think that deserves a lot of credit.
And Mr. Boente, do you believe that the slap at the weigh-in, the spitting and the antics afterwards, did you know any of that was coming, or was that all invented by Derek Chisora on the night?
How could we know? How could we know that? Do you think that belongs to ballyhoo, or do you think if we had known that the Klitschkos would accept those things? I mean, you could pay each of the brothers $1 million if they would never accept those things. That's an absolute no-go. That's the worst you can do. Spit into someone's face or slap him. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
How damaging do you think this incident is, and the behaviour that we've seen this weekend for boxing, for the game?
I don't know if it's something for you can think about boxing in general. You always had persons like that. Remember Mike Tyson biting Lennox Lewis at the press conference, biting into Holyfield's ear. You have here Chisora and Haye, who have a certain reputation. I mean, you always have sometimes those individuals who go over the line, and it's not only Chisora, it's also David Haye. He was always crossing the border before at the build-up for Vladimir's fight, and it was not funny. It was not even funny. I mean, to talk about or show T-shirts with the cut heads of both brothers, that was not funny. I mean, so many of those comments were not funny, and it's not good for the sport, and it's not what you expect from a role model, especially for all these youngsters following sports in general.
And what about David Haye? Mr. Boente, he says he's no angel and he'll join in any investigation by boxing authorities, but do you think he'll be back in Germany talking to the police?
I have no idea. I have no idea if he's back in Germany or if Scotland Yard is investigating for the German authorities, which I think would be probably the right way. I have no idea, but let's see what comes up, because from our position at the dais, we couldn't see what was happening in the back of the room. I watched it like you probably on YouTube, and I only heard the talking, and then suddenly these people were laying on the floor, but we couldn't see it from our position.
And just quickly, what are the chances of David Haye ever fighting one of the Klitschko brothers again?
Yeah, at the moment these chances are zero. Not only because of this incident after the fight. We had an offer on the table a couple of weeks ago. They did not accept it, and if they think we need that fight, they they're on the complete wrong track. If Haye comes back to a realistic line and understands that he is not the same celebrity and the same interesting fighter he was before, especially for pay-per-view business in England, then we can talk again. At the moment, we are way far from each other. Vitaly, the good thing is Vitaly's injury he suffered in the fight is not that bad. He can regroup in the next 8 weeks or so, and then fight again. But at this moment, the next opponent will not be David Haye.
Bernd Boente, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's get more on it. The manager of the Klitschko brothers joins us now live on Sky Sports News from Germany this afternoon. He is Bernd Boente. Bernd, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you so much for joining us, Bernd. What did you think of what you saw emerging in front of you on Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean, believe me, we all, Fritz Stunek, the coach, Vitaly and myself couldn't believe it. Yeah? We were standing there. We could not really see what was happening later. We only saw Chisora rushing down from the dais towards David Haye, and then it was in the back of the room. Then I don't know what happened there. We only heard shouting, and then people fell over each other. And then, like you probably, we saw the rest on YouTube later.
Well, it certainly had major ramifications for the sport, Bernd. David Haye says today that you involved him in the press conference, and that is why he involved himself thereafter. So do you think you carry some of the blame for involving Haye as well?
No, I mean, first of all, Adam Booth asked me for if we wanted to have them ringside to promote a possible fight, and I told him 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago that we are not interested in that. We will not give him tickets or give them tickets because we don't see that fight happening. And then he got his tickets through Box Nation and BBC Radio, where they both worked as co-commentators for that evening, and then through that credential, both came to the press conference. We had not invited them to the press conference, and we did not even wanted to have them both at the fight because we don't need additional PR. But he probably wanted David Haye this PR, and that's why he came to the press conference. I mean, it was a press conference after the WBC world title fight, and we did not want him there. And then he was talking to us because English journalists asked me, what about that fight? And I said that fight is not happening because the Haye side was out bargaining themselves out of that fight because their requests and demands are way too high, and we don't want to go into any risk for that fight. And that was it. And then suddenly Haye started shouting, Vitaly is afraid of him, and Vitaly, when do you want to fight me, and so on. And then I told him from the dais that contrary to him in the Vladimir fight, that Derek Chisora showed great heart, and he only showed his toe in the fight, and that was it. And then Chisora started discussing with him about his performance and so on, and then Haye said, you lost 3 times, and so on, and then the rest you know.
All right, the rest we know. Bernd, just in a word, just a couple of questions. Should Chisora be allowed to fight again?
I don't want to go into these things with British Border Boxing. We know Charlie Giles, the president. I'm very sure he's a close friend and a perfect president. I know him, and knowing him, I know that he will definitely take the right action. Okay, and I can give you also the news, by the way, from the German boxing board of control here. The BDB, they sent us a letter today, an official letter, to keep $100,000 US from Chisora's purse, depending on a hearing, and pending on a hearing, and then we'll see what comes next. Okay, so
Chisora's 100,000 down. In a word, if he wants to fight again, should he be allowed to?
Who?
David Haye.
David Haye?
Yeah.
Also up to Charlie Giles. I will not get into internal discussions and decisions of the British Board of Boxing. I'm sitting here in Germany, and that's really up to, that was a brawl between 2 British fighters, and I'm pretty sure that Charlie Giles and his people will take the right actions.
Okay, I think you took the right action. You stayed out of it. Bernd, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I wouldn't have gone near it.